Risings, Grand Risings. You've got Black Cactus owner-operator Terence Latimer here, recording live from downtown 29 Palms or near, I should say, historic Joshua Tree National Park. We are filming our second episode of Tsundoku and Tea Torrentously, and super excited to be here. We have a really exciting book that I'm stoked to read to you guys today, or read from a little bit, titled Things I Think About in Other Works by Nadia Ramelle. Nadia is a local business person, person of interest, as well as author, based out here in 29 Palms, originally from 29 Palms, and she and I have also had an opportunity to connect for Black Cactus. We recorded this really rad episode regarding what it takes to own and operate a rural business. And as part of that conversation, I got to just learn so much about her, her background. She was a former military person, also worked in the police force up in Oakland, and has just this really compelling story rooted in I mean, there's no other way to say it. There was some tragic violence in her life while she was on duty. A person attempted to take her life, and as a result of that process, her healing process, she decided that she needed to express some things, to get some things off of her chest, and part of that came in the form of this book, Things I Think About in Other Works, which right here at the top it reads, A Healing Through Creative Expression. And yeah, anybody that knows me knows that I'm all about expression and creativity as a means to channel hurt, healing, happiness, joy, all of the things, right? But being able to take advantage of the art of expression, in my opinion, is something that I encourage you all to do, which is why we're here. Tsundoku and Tea Torrentously is an opportunity for me and you to come together, to explore authors, to explore writing, to explore books, as a means of getting and gleaning perspective from others through no pressure, right? And the reminder is, if you are unfamiliar with the Japanese concept of Tsundoku, Tsundoku literally translates to allowing books to pile up. And the goal here is we come together as an opportunity to work through our individual reading lists. And so I encourage you, if you're not already, please follow me on Goodreads, and you can keep track of all the different books that we're allowing to pile up. And we're slowly making our way through no means of slow reading, right? And so here we are. So today's tea is brought to you by Full Circle. This beautiful desert Sunday morning, I'm having a cup of Full Circle Market's English breakfast black tea. It's an organic black tea that I've also incorporated a coconut creamer with this morning, and so it's had a chance to steep. Laird is this like surfer, I think originally based in Hawaii, but he's got a superfoods brand, and so I've mixed this English tea with his coconut creamer, so I'm really excited to try it. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, all right. Okay, all right, dudes, so let's go ahead and get things kicked off, and I'll read a little bit of the back of Nadia's book, Things I Think About in Other Works, where she writes, from the chaos of life, creativity shines. Things I Think About in Other Works captures thoughts and stories shaped by years of challenges, failures, violence, wins, and moments of clarity. Through this work, she hopes to sharpen your iron as hers has been sharpened. May these words stir something within you. Thoughts that are both critical and reflective, a story to share that may change a life, guiding you towards your own peace. About the author. Nadia has never been one for labels. She is a U.S. Army veteran and former law enforcement officer. Though she has always been an artist at heart, her creativity was something she kept to herself until now. Nadia is ready to share her journey, offering a unique perspective through her art. Right. So let's go ahead and hop into the contents. This book is about 100 pages long, and looks like a collection of short stories and poems. And she has started with a dedication where she says, "Thank you, God, family, friends, the blue, the green, the red, the nurses, the dispatchers, the EMTs and paramedics, the creatives, the priests, pastors, and shamans, West Coast post-trauma retreat, Mighty Oaks, Milltree, the Deuce 9, and all the desert cities. Lastly, the 158 and the OPD." And so we're just gonna hop straight into it. A little intro. I lived life as a black woman in America. I spent the better part of a decade serving as a police officer in one of the most dangerous and violent cities in America, in Oakland, California. My break from this was my one weekend a month obligation as an officer in the United States Army Reserves. I've been called racist, a white nationalist, my mother hates me, to name a few. I have hated and questioned my existence. I've been depressed, manic, resentful, angry, bitter, and suicidal. I lived with chronic pain. I bore witness to a tremendous and uncommon amount of violence, hate, and rage. I've witnessed death in a way that is unimaginable. I've witnessed the unthinkable violations of men, women, children, and animals. I've seen maimed bodies, women's teeth pushed through their lips, burned corpses, brains leaking from ears, abused women and children, sexual assaults of women and children, dead children dying at the hands of those who are supposed to love and protect them. Seeing a dead child in these ways changes something inside of you. Couple that with the expectation that this was par for the course. Working overtime, testifying, handling caseloads, calls for service, dealing with peers, and engaging in politics, all while attempting to maintain some normalcy in my personal life. And as I was told, I chose the careers, I chose the city, that was my cost of doing business. Deal with it. I've been on a search for an understanding of myself and other humans. I'm a lifelong learner and curious about all aspects of life. That curiosity led me to write some thoughts and share some stories. Enjoy. Right, well, that was super heavy and something for us to just consider. I mean, we're gonna continue to read. Some of us may feel a certain kind of way about law enforcement or the military, and I think something for us to just consider, particularly based off of where we are in human history, is just compassion. Compassion for your enemies, compassion for your friends, compassion for your family members, and even through just this simple act of writing a book, giving Nadia her flowers in terms of the compassion to communicate, based off of the job that I've had to deal with some really heavy things, and we all have to be mindful that we all have our individual ways of dealing with certain things, and it's not always easy. And I think real compassion comes down with the ability and willingness to listen to someone else's perspective without assigning any judgment, which is totally difficult. And I empathize and understand it's not always easy. But kudos to Nadia for not allowing some of these intrusive thoughts directly related to her career to overwhelm her, right? And I think part of that mutual social contract or obligation of expressing or even receiving compassion comes in the form of communicating what your reality is, right? Which, even through that little intro, it sounds like we're going to be dealing with some heavy subject matter, and the compassion that Nadia, or the self-compassion that she expresses or exhibits in herself, is something that we all need to applaud, and serves as a reminder that getting stuff off of our chest, whatever that form or format, is something that is extremely valuable. Okay, so we're going into, so as I mentioned, this is about a 92-page book, and I would almost call these like vignettes. And so it looks like they're anywhere from like 2 to, I would say it looks like they average about 5 pages each, some longer than others. It looks like there's one. I'd say about 40 or so, maybe a little bit more vignettes. And it looks like they're pretty easily digestible. Well, I don't even know if they're easily digestible or easy to read, because we are dealing with heavy subject matter. I just mean that they're not too word heavy. And so if you see here, I can try to zoom in on some of these pages, right? But it looks like she's got some stories, some poetry. Okay, so diving right in. This one is titled, During the Documentation of My Existence, I realize I am nothing, I am everything. The high, the low, the in-between, where death meets life. That there is no end. Without your beginning, you make the choice, so choose wisely. Wisdom is the building block, the foundation of all that is good. If you choose to stay with ignorance, you will surely stay the fool. A fool's folly is often gleeful, but often falls short. Short of what? You make the choice. And there is no end without your beginning. You make the choice. Death is essential to living, just as breath is to lungs. Every beginning must come to an end. Every end starts a beginning. This one stops with me. I am the beginning. I am the ending. Awakened, I stare blankly into the abyss of that belief of what? Of that belief of what matters. I laugh. For every beginning must come to an end. Every end starts a new beginning. Death and I became acquainted. I wrote to her, Death, nice to meet your acquaintance yet again. I once thought you a foe, now I realize that foe was always me. Your lessons, planned perfection for my enlightenment, our entanglement was for my enlightenment. Your presentation is not for the faint, but you built me, I stand in that strength. Death will always welcome me, my friend, till the end. Whimsical she is, Death. She comes and she goes. Where will she stop? No one knows. With open arms, welcome her embrace. Wow, Nadia, that was really good. That was really good. Definitely, I got some, this is just the nerd in me. I got a little bit of Harry Potter vibes. And if you know anything about the Deathly Hallows, they said the master of death is one who is able to make friends with death. And, just being mindful of Nadia's personal story. And how close she came to death. There's certainly a lesson to be learned through this poem where she communicates death is essential to living, just as breath is to lungs, which offers concepts of duality, right? Like we've got one life to live, and as a result of that, we all have an impending death. We don't necessarily know when or where that's going to happen, right? Part of what I've learned is that if you want true definitions of personal freedom, that certainly comes in the form of recognizing that you can die at any time. And so if you are living for anything that is outside of what you want from this limited time and experience that we have on this planet, in my opinion, that comes in the form of some form of slavery, right? And not to say, being a slave or working with or for others doesn't have concepts of freedom, and hopefully I'm not expressing this in too poorly, but what I mean by that is, there is freedom in commitment. And if you are committed to being a good parent, a good friend, a good family member, a good professional, yet you then express how or what that looks like through no uncertain terms than your own, right? You are defining what that means. Well, that offers a level of freedom that is maybe not available to everyone. Whereas if you are just sort of checking off the boxes and you're living for other people without a voice in things. Well, that, in my opinion, is a form of slavery that is unacceptable. And that's sort of what I'm getting from Nadia here, is that life is short, right? And if you are not fully friends with death, you may be doing yourself a disservice here. You may be not really be living. Okay, so this next one. Aware of the duplication, I thought to myself, ... God moves through me. Sun shining so bright, these pen strokes like magic as I write. Who do I write for? Me? You? It is not for either of us to determine, only the reader will know. For only the writing will show, it is not for me, not for you. Like magic, only the reader will know. God moves through these pen strokes. Nadia is an incredible writer. Wow, that was great. This next one reads, I was starved. Sleep again at the wheel, I see. Wake up. You're going to drive off the edge, fall into the void. Is that where you are choosing to go? All right, let's take a trip. Take the wheel, but you have to wake up, enlighten yourself. Take that path, the one less traveled. It is the only way. Beautiful. This next poem reads, Dead ends. To be fully alive means dead ends are not dead. A spiritual death means every day has a dead end, but every day is a new beginning. Dead end should direct your attention. Every day is a divine appointment. Every day is full of promise. This next one is titled, Wow. The 23rd of July, 2016 changed my life forever. I was not alone in that car. I had the hand of God on me. I have been on the search for the human condition, trying to understand why this man was determined to end my life. I understand the politics of community and police, but to me, that was not good enough. That was something else. During my tenure as a police officer, I witnessed a lot of bad and some evil, but to be the sole recipient of pure evil was life-altering. It's a short one. Next is home. I've been exploring what home means to me. When I was 9, I remember coming up here to 29 Palms and seeing this large arrangement of lights. Wow! I'm entering the big city. Look at it all, these lights shining so bright. Then the sun came up. I woke up, surrounded by ugly buildings, men and a few women dressed in uniform. Where the hell are we now? As a child, I knew this wasn't it. How could it be? My high school graduating class was only 100 kids, not one like me, nothing to do, nothing to see. But like my parents, I knew I wanted to serve. You see, they were both devil dogs. For those who don't know what devil dogs are, it means they are Marines. Hoorah! I wanted to help, I wanted to stand out and show off, but how? I knew I wanted to leave this small, transient, dusty town. The grass must be greener somewhere else. Frankly, I just wanted to see some damn grass. So I left to sow my seeds, maybe grow some grass of my own. Leaving my childhood home, the familiar, I went north. I landed in the Bay Area. There wasn't a desert in sight, not a cactus, not a grain of sand. And though it was greener, nothing I pursued made me happy. I went to college, I played hoop, I was bored out of my mind. I didn't seem to fit in, I didn't feel at home. It made me wonder why I even left the desert. But I'm not a quitter, so I stuck it out. Eventually, I was hanging out in Oakland, the police. I decided to become the police. Excellent idea, this felt right. I mean, I'm black. Oakland is definitely black. I will definitely fit in here. Boy, was I naive. Little did I know what the hell I was signing up for. I was the man. I had to adjust on the fly. I fixed my mouth to say the roughest things. I drank with the boys, slept with the girls, and became a runner and gunner in the streets. I became somebody I didn't recognize. I wore a resting bitch face. I became the quintessential angry black woman, with a quick / slick tongue and even quicker temper. I was professional, well put together, fit. I was a servant to the public. But was this me? That's the one question I would ask myself, but I could never find the answer. I definitely did not fit in, and it was definitely not home. I became horrified, terrified, and exhilarated. All at the same time, the poverty, the rage, the violence, the blood, the guts, the dismissal, the lies, the hurt, the cheating, the divorces, the suicides, the car chases, the fights, the riots, the despair, the destruction. You ever see a child die? Every day there was a tragedy. One warm April day, some asshole pointed a gun at me, so I responded. I pointed mine right back at him. Beat ya! I heard the boom as I fired one into his chest. I saw my slide rip back, the casing eject, the smoke rise from my firearm, his blood-soaked t-shirt, his green boxers showing just above his light blue jeans. He dropped. I stood over him. Sis, why'd you shoot me, sis? Shocked but calm, coldly I reminded him that if he goes towards the machete at his hip or moves another inch, I'd blow his head off. Point blank rage. The words left my lips so smooth. I meant that shit. After more units showed up, I left the scene along with a piece of my soul. Later that evening, I was met with a shot of Jameson and a somber welcome to the club. I understood I would have to be a soul taker. What a defining moment. Yes, it was justified, but I was unable to look in the mirror. When I did, I looked as empty as I felt. How could I do that? I couldn't feel a thing. I felt numb. I started floating through the days. At that point, I didn't even have a home in my body, but I was tough. I was a badass, right? Feeling soulless, I still stayed. I'm no quitter. With this unique skill set, nowhere else to go, heart shattered, so dissociated, I drank and drank and drank. I mean, at least I was part of a club, right? I thought to myself, maybe now I'm home. I'm a part of the few, as this is not a common thing. They say home is where the heart is. My ass. My heart was broken. I became a glutton for punishment. I mean, at that point, it made more sense to welcome that new feeling of disconnect. I mean, what did it matter? I didn't belong anywhere anyway. My peace became peace. My peace was in the chaos. My peace was in guns, fast cars, fast relationships. I didn't even have peace in my sleep. My conscious and subconscious blurred together into lucid nightmares. I once knew the line, that shit had all been erased, and I thrived in that. This was my new normal, the chaos, the drama, the trauma. I was making all that my new home. Secretly, I had my doubts. This existence was going to kill me, and probably by my own hand. I was so disassociated, life and death had no meaning. Death was just a violent part of life, and life was meaningless. I was clearly not afraid to die. And to my maker, I said, take me home, I'm ready. Little did I know, my wish is about to come true. 2016, my last shift ever, a drunk driver ran a red and T-boned my patrol vehicle. Driver's side smashed, front window smashed, cage in the back, stuck, unable to move, ambushed. I saw him standing there at my passenger side window. Time stood still. I could hear each inhale and exhale of my breath. I stared into his lifeless, soulless eyes, and he back into mine. I saw the barrel. I heard the gunshots. Damn! All I could think was, this is it, and I sure don't want to die in this filthy patrol car. I felt this separation as if I was about to watch my body die, but nothing happened. Then I saw it. The double feed. 2 rounds locked in place. His gun, locked in place. He can't shoot me. Can he? Believe me, he tried over and over and over again. As you can see, I'm standing here today. Unfortunately, the little I had left of my soul exploded, splintered, and floated away. This little bit left of my heart had gone into the ether. I broke like the levees in Louisiana. Everything I knew to be true dissolved. All that was left was failure, paranoia, rage, hate, mixed in with deep sorrow and depression. I can't keep a steady hand. Nervous system shot. Vessel empty. Sleeping with my finger on the trigger, I pray no one has to live like that. Miraculously, something in me refused to give up. God reminded me not to give up. I decided to return to the only home I have ever known. You know, my parents stayed right here in the high desert. They have always loved me unconditionally, and their home is safe, comfortable, familiar. When I returned, I finally recognized the beauty that I long ago took for granted. Hell, I didn't need any green grass. Turns out I preferred the sand on my toes anyway. I preferred the different hue of the desert sky in tempered weather, and I like to see the sparseness of the vegetation. Damn, like me, they can survive the harshest environments. Had this been home all along? I have to tell you, I've not found that home is where the heart is. I put my heart and soul into the world, that job as a police officer, and I lost both. I need to walk wisely. What I need for home to be is something different. It needs to be safe and joyful, where I can be the freest to be who I am, full of peace and quiet. Here in the desert, I open my eyes, I look up, I'm surrounded by palm trees and stars, moonlight and sunrises, truly an oasis of beauty. I'm a work in progress. I'm being resurrected, finding my way, finally finding my way home. I will leave you with this quote from Rumi. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I am wise, so I am changing myself. Wow. Shout out to Nadia. I mean, and we're just about a quarter of the way through, and I'm just like so impressed with the raw level of honesty and the way that, I mean, quite literally, her heart is like bleeding through this pen or through this ink and paper. And just consider myself lucky to know Nadia. She lives right here in 29 Palms, as I mentioned, right near Black Cactus. And we're actually talking about hosting another event together. And then also, Nadia, if you're watching this, I'm getting ready to launch a writer circle, and I would love for you to be here and to help teach this community of other creatives how you like to write, because it's obvious that she is just like super talented. I actually have an extra copy of Nadia's book. So if you're interested in swinging by Black Cactus, we have a library that you are all able to participate in, and I highly encourage you to do so. That is, one of the gifts that we are offering this community is an opportunity to exchange information and knowledge and wisdom right here in the desert, through the serenity of this desert environment, which offers wide open spaces, definitely a beating hot sun, which teaches you so much that you need to know about yourself, as well as this desert terrain, which offers you the opportunity to get lost within yourself. But obviously drink plenty of water while you're out here. So thank you so much for being here. We're definitely going to continue Tsundoku and tea again, and just through this lens of no pressure. I don't know what we're gonna read next or when we're gonna read it, but the idea is that we are committed to reading the books that we allow to pile up as this opportunity to learn, to engage, and to offer the best versions of ourselves through this lens of imbibing some of the knowledge and experience of others. So on that note, cheers to you. I look forward to seeing you soon here at Black Cactus, and have a great rest of your day. Appreciate you.